Thank you very much, Harrison, for your time today. It has been pleasure working with you for our team and my co-founder as well. And we have really wanted to make this video case study happen for a couple of weeks now, but I have been like constantly asking Revas when would be the perfect timing for for this. So I asked you as soon as he agreed, basically. And yeah, would love to hear your story about like how we started collaborating and so on. And
Yeah,
let's dive deeper after that.
yeah, sure. So I think I came across you guys. I found you guys on LinkedIn. I think it was either you were posting stuff or can't remember exactly how I came across, but it was definitely on LinkedIn. And we had kind of the systems and stuff that we had in place were like we were using Bison, Airtable, um, a few other, I would say, like different systems as well, and kind of like cobbled it all together, right? So like using Make and other automations and all sorts of stuff from that perspective. But we had wanted to really build out like a fully functional single place, single source of truth client portal for all of our clients. And I had started just kind of vibe coding something with Claude Code and Cursor. Um, and I think what I realized is that I undervalued the understanding of like Postgres databases or like understanding the nuances with the security side of things. And I think I got a bit too, I built out way too many features right away to try and make this thing work. And I think what I realized is having a team like yourselves who specializes in working with companies like ours and your level of like understanding of the space really will give us and has given us already like a really solid foundation of now we have like database that we can query anytime. All of the data is now being stored rather than just like positive responses. We'll have a lot like to build on. Whereas, right now we've got basically you guys have already built out like the full client portal. It's functioning, works really well. Clients love it, having a single place to go for everything. And I think the sort of next step is like how do we build on these additional sets of features, and that's what I'm really excited about.
Thank you for your kind words. My next question would be that you are one of the few founders of cold email agencies who we have worked and who we have met in the space, who is quite technical. Like when it comes to like building something themselves for the basically like making something work, not well, like correctly on fundamental levels and like thinking about it as a solutions architect or something, but like making stuff work with like everything you have. And I want to understand what are the main differences which you had before with the systems which you have created yourself, and then afterwards once you have shifted to the new versions.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I would say, yeah, I mean, I'm relatively technical, but like I couldn't go into like the code base and understand all of the inner workings, right? So I think that's one challenge when you're trying to like vibe code something that is very like complex and there's lots of moving parts. It's one thing to just like, build it and it kind of works. But then it's another thing to be able to have that scale, be able to like fully understand behind the scenes exactly how all the code is functioning. And so I think when we were building out all of our automations and Make or Cloud Code, whatever it was, I think that was sort of like the piece that was missing a bit. And so I think now having you guys really build that like backbone, the architecture of everything, now we have like a system that we could easily scale upon and build. And ultimately it's gonna like lead to our team being substantially more efficient and effective for that matter, right? So not just the efficiency gains, doing stuff faster, but also by freeing up their time to not have to be as hands-on keyboard, going through clay, building out tables, moving data between different systems. they'll be able to spend more time like thinking strategically around campaigns. How do they want to craft messaging to be even better? All sorts of different angles to test, and kind of unlocking more of that creativity side. So that way, I think we'll be able to drive even more, results for clients.
And my next question would be about the systems which you have leveraged the most by far. Like which gave you, it's very difficult to basically like calculate the return on investment of the system or automation or something like that because it's quite complex process. It takes like hourly rate, also like error rate and stuff like that. But based on your gut feeling, like what was the system which gave you like most sense of value by far?
Previously,
But with our collaboration, within our
oh, with
collaboration.
our collaboration, I think getting the entire like database like architected and structured in a way where like clients only see client stuff. That's probably a good idea. And like I think it's just like there's all these different tools that exist, right? Like the email bisons, hey reaches, um, there's all of the different data tools that we end up using, Clay, what have you, right? Even Make. And I think that it's not just like there's not like one thing I would say that's kind of put you guys over the top that I'm like most excited about, or like one feature per se. It's really like the whole architecture and just being able to like work back and forth with the team, and just like in Slack, it's like, hey, found this bug, cool, fixed. Or like, hey, we want to build out this new feature, cool, it's implemented, like go test it out. And I think that the iteration cycles are very quick, so we're able to like quickly get stuff in the hands of clients, in the hands of our team, to really leverage.
Thank you for that kind of feedback. And my last question would be around like what would be, how would you imagine in like, let's say like at the end of the year, the operational state of your agency, like operation and technical state of your agency. What would be your perfect scenario by the end of the year?
I mean, that's a good question. I think in terms of like weeks now instead of
Uh,
like months for like AI stuff. Because like I think the biggest unlock is going to be like leveraging stuff like OpenClaw, to creating all of these different like sub agents who can execute like very specific tasks for us. Like having all of the campaign building processes, really optimized. And so it's hard for me to say what's even going to happen at the end of the year. Like by June, like I'm imagining we're like 10 times more productive from launching campaigns, where we are like the only stuff that we may even have to like put into play is maybe if we want to get like really creative on specific campaigns or something. But I don't, even then, like the way we're building the architecture around messaging and list building is going to be, is going to give us that creativity, but via API endpoints and agents versus needing to maybe even go into Clay even anymore, right? So I think when you're using something like Clay, it's really, really good, I think, for most people. But when you're trying to get to a level of like automation efficiencies across the team, especially as you're scaling and adding a bunch of clients, just having code do that stuff is so much better.
yeah.
Um, Especially if you're technical, right? If you're not technical, then it's going to be really hard to do that stuff. But then, so it's like the way I'm thinking about it is how can we also make these things that we're building usable for people that may not be as technical?
Yeah, I understand what you mean. And like to summarize, the last question which I want to ask is about like how many like what amount of clients are you able to serve with like how many employees? So what's your employee to client ratio?
Yeah, so we actually just brought somebody on, so it's a little skewed. But prior to that, we were about 20 clients per client operations manager that we had on the team. Um, and like it's only going to get better. Now, granted, like me and my co-founder were also hands-on doing stuff as well, so like you could, sort of change that a little. You probably knock that down a little bit, but I think going forward, it's only going to get better and more efficient. But we did bring on another person to help with that, especially as we're looking at our pipeline and we're like, oh, we're going to be adding a bunch more people and clients, and so we got to be ready for that.
That's good to hear, man. Thank you very much for your time today, Harrison. It is a pleasure to work with you, and
Yeah, of
thank you
course.
for
Thank
this
you all.
amazing testimonial.
Yeah, thank you all. It's been awesome working with you guys as well. I'm very excited about what the future holds.
For sure, man. Thank you.